Hello people of Goa and anybody else that may be watching this video. Apologies if it goes on a bit, but I have a lot to tell you. My name is David Cleaver. I was originally a mining engineer. I became an environmental activist when I ended up in Goa. And it seems that I've now become a social and political activist. Some of you may know that I've been fighting against corruption in the state of Goa for about 5 years, together with a small group of people to assist me. But at every step of the way, we've encountered problems because of exactly that. The corruption in your system has put obstacles in our path, which has made our fight extremely difficult. I have plenty of evidence of corruption in the state of Goa. I'd like to present some of it here, and because this may end up sounding like a witness testimony in a trial, I've taken the liberty of bringing this book. It's in Spanish, but it makes no difference to me. It is a Bible, and I swear that what I have to say is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, as God is my witness. Now, this whole thing revolves around the activities of a criminal fraudster and con artist named Aju Sindali. You may have heard his name on my previous videos. He's been fleecing the people of Goa since about 2007, to my knowledge, possibly before that. But in 2007, he cheated a good friend of mine, Andrew Rodriguez, out of his life savings of around 31 lakh Indian rupees, which is a lot of money, whether you're an Indian or a Brit or wherever you are in the world. It's a lot of money that he lost. Andrew is a married man with 4 kids, and the loss of his life savings destroyed his life. He now suffers mental problems as a result. I didn't like what had happened to Andrew, so I took it upon myself to try and get justice for the man. I tracked down Aju Sindali, and actually it was a number of years before I made contact with some other of Aju Sindali's victims. We came together in 2015, December, and several victims filed criminal charges at the Economic Offences Cell against Aju Sindali. But we now know that the officers running those investigations are corrupt. We know that they took bribes from Sindali, and in fact Sindali has bribed the whole system from the bottom to the very top. And I'm talking here about bribing chief ministers. I have proof, and I will try and present that here. Now, Sindali's crimes seem to revolve around writing checks and then bouncing them, so that basically he doesn't have to pay for anything. But I'm not talking here about 100 rupees, 200 rupees. He writes checks for lakhs and crores of rupees and bounces the checks. The crimes have been recorded incorrectly, I believe, as civil cases under the Negotiable Instruments Act, Section 138 cases, which is generally what you use when somebody bounces a cheque against you. But all of these cases should have been registered, in my opinion, as cases of cheating, because Sinderley's track record shows that he had the intent to cheat, and it's that criminal intent that makes the difference between a civil case and a criminal case of cheating. Anyway, that's beside the point, because there is one specific offence that I want to speak about today, and the proof is documented, irrefutable, and I've made the authorities aware of the proof, yet they've taken no action. In 2013, when Aju Sinderley applied for his passport, he submitted a fraudulent passport application. This is easy to prove, because on his passport you will see that the address that Aju Sinderley has given is mezzanine floor, Victor Palace, opposite Ambedkar Park. Now that address is an office. It's very easy to prove that. Oh, by the way, that image that I'm showing you of his passport, yes, it looks like a 6th generation photocopy. It hasn't been photoshopped, but if you want to see the real thing, get the man's passport and have a look. There is the proof in his passport. Now, you need to understand that using an office address on your passport application is a criminal offence. It contravenes Section 4 of the Passport Act 1967. Sinderley has clearly done that because the address he's given is an office. And all you need to do to prove that is to go there and have a look. This is his office. The original sign outside, we, after a lot of effort and persuasion, we got the CCP to force him to modify his sign, his office sign, to remove some of the lies. They didn't go as far as they could. All of these names on his office sign are fake. All these companies are fake. But Aju Sinderley has also bribed people at the CCP. As I said, Aju Sinderley has bribed everybody that he needs to get what he wants and to do what he wants. And that's why we've been struggling to bring this man to justice. So, when Sinderley applied for his passport, it's the same procedure as it is for everybody else. The police need to come and verify his residential address. Now, how do you think they did that? The police have to visit the property, see and confirm that it is his residence, and then they sign a verification report to say that he's living at that address. Well, when the police visited him in 2013, it should have been obvious to the policeman concerned that that address was an office. And even if he said he was living there, Sinderley would have had to show paperwork to prove that he had permission to do so, and that was indeed his residence. So what I'll show you now is a copy of his tenancy agreement. You will see very clearly in black and white the tenancy agreement for that office precludes him from using it for residential purpose, because it says business purposes only. Now, Cinderley would have had to show that piece of paper to the police to satisfy their verification procedure. That's the only piece of paper he has for that property. So what went wrong? I'll tell you what went wrong. The police officer who went to carry out the verification report, he took a bribe. There is no other explanation for this police officer not doing his job correctly. If he had been doing his job correctly, he would have said, "No, Mr. Cinderley, you cannot put this on your passport because it's an office and you don't have the paperwork to say that you live here." That police officer's name was PSI Baban Pawar. He's now retired, but in my opinion, that is no reason for him not to face charges of corruption. He took a bribe when he was a policeman. There is no other explanation. Retired PSI Baban Pawar should be arrested and charged with corruption. But it doesn't end there. Baban Pawar's superior officer was P.I. Krishna Sinari. They were both based at Old Goa Police Station. Ajju Cinderley has some very good friends at Old Goa. Now, P.I. Krishna Sinari, he knew what was going on, and I know how your system works. You see, Baban Pawar doesn't keep the bribe money all for himself. He also has to satisfy the greed of his superior officers. So a certain percentage of Cinderley's bribe would have gone to Krishna Sinari in order for Krishna Sinari to countersign the verification report and say that Ajju Cinderley lived in an office. For that reason, P.I. Krishna Sinari should also be arrested on corruption charges, and he should be asked to explain why he countersigned a verification report saying that Ajju Cinderley lived at the mezzanine floor, Victor Palace, which is an office address. But it doesn't end there either, because all this information has already been brought to the attention many times. It's been brought to the attention of the Passport Office, the police, the Chief Minister, and I've done that by email on many occasions. Just guessing, I would say at least 10, but I have documented proof with possibly as many as 200 witnesses that I've informed people like the Director General of Police and the Assistant Director of the Passport Office that Ajju Cinderley has committed the serious crime of passport fraud in contravention of Section 4 of the Passport Act 1967. Another person putting obstacles in our path is therefore the Assistant Director of the Passport Office. Her name is Rohini Ashok Lad. She is corrupt, no doubt. She's either corrupt, or she is totally useless, or she is just plain stupid. But either way, that woman should be removed from her post because she is not doing her job properly. She's not doing her job properly because it is a criminal offence to file a false passport application. And very clearly, this is what Ajju Cinderley has done. And despite the fact that Rohini Ashok Lad has been made aware of this information, she has taken no action. And if the Passport Office is not going to take any action against a person committing a passport offence, then who is going to take that action? Rohini Ashok Lad says that this is a police matter. She said that we need to contact Goa Police for them to file charges. So I've done exactly that on numerous occasions. The Director General of Police, Mr. Meena, he is fully aware that this offence has taken place. As I say, I've got witnesses that have received the same information that has been circulated to the DGP and the Passport Office. They cannot deny having received this information, but they've taken no action whatsoever against Sinderley. Why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because they've all taken his money. And if they haven't, then let us see the law take its course. Let's see Aju Sinderley be arrested on charges of passport fraud. There are a few other people involved in this chain. One of them is the Chief Secretary, Parimal Rai. He has an amazing amount of power. He's the one effectively controlling Goa Police at the moment. This is slightly complicated, but it's to do with a missing document that should be in the system. You see, in about 2017, this criminal fraudster Sinderley was made a history sheeter by SP Karthik Kashyap. Sinderley didn't like that. It bruised his ego, as well as potentially it could have led to him being imprisoned shortly afterwards. But anyway, Sinderley, he didn't like it. He got some clever lawyer on the case, and he took the State of Goa to the High Court, and he had that history sheeter status removed by arguing that Goa Police didn't have the correct authority to declare him a history sheeter. And that is correct, because Sinderley argued that Goa doesn't have its own police manual. The State of Goa tried to argue that they were using the Mumbai Police Manual, but Sinderley argued that there's nowhere it's written that Goa can use the Mumbai Police Manual. Goa is a separate state. It doesn't automatically follow that they're following the Mumbai Police Manual. So therefore Goa needs its own police manual, and it hasn't got that to date. The reason it hasn't got this manual is because it's being held back by Parimal Rai. He's the one that makes the decision to release it. And they've been promising to release this document for years. And how difficult can it be? All they need to do is take the Mumbai Police Manual, copy and paste it, and replace a few words like Maharashtra, replace it with Goa, and then they create the Goa Police Manual. It is check-in, and then they release it, and then Goa has its own police manual and police rules. But you see, the reason they're not doing this is because as soon as that manual is introduced, it would give the police some authority to declare Aju Sinderley a history sheeter. So I'm willing to bet that Aju Sindali is pulling the strings of the Chief Secretary. And what do I mean by pulling the strings? He's giving him money. Absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Please do not underestimate the amount of money that Aju Sindali has fleeced from the people of Goa. It runs into crores of rupees. Now he can very easily afford to spend 50 lakhs or whatever bribing the Chief Secretary, the Director General of Police, whoever he chooses. He can easily afford to give away that much money because it's not his. He stole it from his victims. So, who else has he given money to? Well, Aju Sindali is involved with many politicians. Off the top of my head, Damu Naik was one, Rowan County is another, the late Francis de Souza is another, Lakshmikant Parsika is another, Digamba Karmat. He has connections with all of these people. And this is my theory. This is the slight speculation, but I know that certain aspects of this are factual. The fact is that Aju Sindali keeps a small green book in his safe. There are witnesses to this. And he keeps a list of who he's paid money to for various reasons. Now, my theory is that he's keeping a list of who he's bribed. And he keeps it locked up because he knows that it's a very important document. And with that little book, and possibly video evidence from inside his office of him handing cash to politicians and other people, he has a blackmail hold over many people, including the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister, Papu Savant, according to Sindali, Savant owes him money. Now, Dr. Pramod Savant, Papu Savant, has been questioned about this, and his response was, well, he laughed and he said, no, actually, Sindali owes me the money. So it doesn't deny his association with Aju Sindali. It doesn't deny knowing the guy. He's an associate of this criminal. And I believe that Pramod Savant is also protecting Aju Sindali. So for those reasons, I recommend that all of these people that I've named so far should all be removed from office and charged with corruption and perverting the course of justice. But also, Pramod Savant, he's not only betrayed the people of Goa, he's betrayed the people of India. He's not upholding the law. It's quite clear by his lack of action against Aju Sindali that he's not upholding your constitution, is not upholding the law of India. And that's why I say that Pramod Savant is a traitor. Now, I realise these are quite serious allegations, but as I said, I have proof of everything that I'm saying, and I hope you will see that the documents that I've presented in this video are enough to convict Aju Sindali on the offence that I've specified, which is passport fraud under Section 4 of the Passport Act 1967. If Dr. Pramod Sawant therefore has nothing to hide, then please, let's see Ajoo Sindali arrested on these charges. If nothing happens as a result of this statement that I'm making, to me that indicates Pramod Sawant's involvement and his collusion with a known criminal fraudster. And it will indicate that Pramod Sawant plus the others that I've named are guilty of the offences that I've listed: corruption, perjury and treason. They are traitors to the State of Goa and to the Republic of India. Please share this video widely. I would like everybody in Goa to hear what I'm saying. As I've said in previous videos, I'm not doing this for my own benefit. I've not monetized this YouTube channel, so you will see no adverts. I hope that I've said enough to convince you that what I'm saying is truthful. As I said at the beginning, I am telling the truth. Thank you.